guys, so today I'm going to video our feeding routine that we do through the entire winter here on our ranch in Northeastern Montana. Hey boys! And today I'm going to record my dad and possibly my brother who perform the daily feeding operations. So yeah, I'm gonna have them kind of walk you through, what they feed, why they feed it. I'm gonna show you how they load the mixer, how they get the feed to the cattle, and yeah.
I'm Marshall Simonson. Oh, hold on. Camera shy. Are you recording now?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm Marshall. I'm the son of the current owner, co-owner of the Simonson Cattle Company. 4th generation since it's been here. My wife and I just moved back a few months ago, starting the process of integrating myself and eventually taking over operations. What we do in winter is just pretty much just feed cows and haul hay because we didn't get to haul in fall. Need to go pick up equipment we've got bought off auction for feeding every day. Load a big feed mixer, TMR feed mixer, with whatever hay we've got, either bought or made. We've moved it up to the yard. A little bit of grain, but almost probably over 90% hay, dry matter. Then you run it down, feed it out, a little 40-acre planting ground. Add all the good fertilizer, manure to it every winter. Make sure water's open for the cows, because that's tough up this far north. Keep the cows out of the hay yard, which is semi-successful this year. Need better fence and corrals. Yeah, that's the gig in winter.
So we're gonna commence feeding for the day. Marshall right now is getting the TMR, the total mix ration wagon, out, getting it prepped for the day. We will start loading that with our daily ration, which we take and formulate from the number of cows and dude, you're interrupting the interview.
It's
okay. Are you recording this?
Yeah, I can edit it out.
You're gonna have to edit out the curse words. Just get something. Okay, get out of here. Go work. So we have a nutrition balancer that I have loaded on my phone, and it allows us to make a calculator where we can balance the ration with our available feedstuffs. And so we can go in here and manipulate this, manipulate our feedstock situation, and then we can balance the cows or the calf's diet according to what we want to achieve, whether it's to maintain their body condition, or like in such cases our feedlot background, to background them on a light gain, or in a yearling situation where we want to be trying to maximize the amount of pounds that we can put on that animal in any given time frame. And so we utilize that because it takes into account the value of the feed, each individual feed stock, and then we, whether it's protein content, it's digestible nutrient values that are available to the cow, and then it can balance that diet for that specific pen of animals. And then we load that, use that to load our mix wagon, and then that mixes it all together, blends it into a uniform, homogeneous feed tub that then we feed to the animals. Each animal gets the same type of feed every day, and consistency is what we strive for, because cows like the same thing. They don't like change, because then they have to adapt, and their gut room, their rumen and their microbiome has to adapt, and that takes time and energy, and so the better stability we can give that cow in their diet, the better off that we are with our feeding. So we are going to get on the load tractor here and start loading our feed ration. Two big beaters in there, choppers, slicer, mixers, I don't know what it's called. It's the tub of death. You don't want to fall in there, that's for sure.
So how many bales total did you put in it?
I think there's about 10 total in there, and then a big scoop of grain, dried distillers grain, and a little bit of some wheat screens, and then some snow for moisture, because right now we don't have any silage up here to make it wet. It's pretty dry. We use a lot of dry hay right now and straw. So we've got about 19,000 pounds. Quite 20,000 pounds on there. We're going to take it below the hill and feed the cows out on the range. And so we used to keep cows in the confinement lot, and the cows couldn't go very far, and they'd have their water, and then you'd take your feed to them, and their waste would build up over, the winter, and then you would scoop that waste out and pile it up and dry it out, compost it, and then you would come back and you'd scoop it up and load it into a spreader, take it out to a field and spread it on the field, and then you'd go and you'd use a cultivator, and you'd till that waste into the soil to make it usable for the plants, and then turn into fertility in your soil and act as a fertilizer. But now what we try to do in most cases is have the cattle out on range, and we take the feed to them and feed them out in those fields, and then the cows eat. We spread it out in different areas each day, and the cows, it acts more of a grazing pattern, where the cows eat in that area, and then their hoof activity, and then laying in it, and their waste is spread over those acreages, so it knocks out a whole bunch of processes in the chain there. And ultimately, like right now, we're in kind of the tough and deepest part of winter, but ultimately what we like is, better than that, is to have the forage growing during the late fall of the year, and then leave that as a stockpiled forage, and have the cows actually grazing that through the winter if it's mild enough, and just giving them a supplement out in those fields, and that leaves the cows actually out doing the processing and the feeding by themselves. We find it's much better if a cow does the work that a cow is made for, and eliminate as many of our man-made processes as we can. Obviously in a winter like this where we have had a really deep cold spell and a lot of snow and wind, we've had to bring the cattle in because the snow is too hard for them to be out grazing right now, and so we're feeding them our forages that we stockpiled and taking care of them that way for now. Hopefully the winter lets up, or as spring comes through, we'll be able to move them back out onto stockpiled forages, or old grass as you might call it, and have them go back to work for us rather than us working for them, which we're doing right now. It's a good day to be a black cow. They're all spread out and they're just turned. If you look, the cows are all turned and they're getting their full amount of sunlight on their side. They're like a big solar panel, and it's really easy for a black cow to maintain herself when there's no wind and there's nice bright sunlight. They can really take a lot of cold and not really be that affected by it as long as they have access to food and water. They need shelter from the wind, and they need adequate roughage, because the other part of a cow's heating system is their rumen. They have 4 stomachs, and they move that roughage from stomach to stomach, and it acts as a furnace inside of them. So when it's really, really super cold like we've had, we were down 35, 37 below zero air temperatures these last couple of weeks, and that cow has got to have a lot of forage, and they want a rough forage in their stomach to act like a heating source for them, and it heats them from the inside out. Their rumen acts as a furnace, but it takes a lot of feed to get that cow through weather like that. So we're thankful for what we have now. It's about almost 20 degrees and bright sunshine, no wind. It's a beautiful January day.
How many loads of that do you put out a day for these guys?
Up here, usually we're putting out 3 loads a day right now with the numbers the way we've got them in the feed ration that we're putting out. So we'll load that mixer 3 times a day. We go to different pens with it, and then we'll come back tomorrow and do the same thing.
And how many bales a day do you think that is?
When it's cold, we're putting out probably close to 40 or 50 bales a day, depending on how much grain is going into the ration, and usually around 300 bushels of grain, and about like 3 or 4 tons of distillers grain, dried distillers grain.
That is the end of the feeding routine.
Eat beef?